Fresh northwesterly breeze fills the sails of an exact replica of Captain Cook's three-masted Whitby bark Endeavour as it sails down the River Derwent in Tasmania. Its appearance recalls the once familiar scene when tall-masted ships thronged Hobart's waterfronts in the early pioneering days. The replica was brought to Hobart by the United and South British Insurance Group during the bi-centenary celebrations of Captain Cook's discovery of Australia. Not only is it accurate in every historical detail, but also seaworthy. While sailing it, the crew of 3 handles the same number of sails and lines as the crew of the original Endeavour. The 6-ton, 22.5 feet long replica, which in favourable winds can reach a speed of 6 knots, was built in New Zealand by Mr. Ralph Sewell. Using the same construction materials which were specified by the plan sent to him by the Admiralty, it took Mr. Sewell 12 weeks to complete the model. The original Endeavour was a refitted collier of 106 feet long and 368 tons displacement. Watched by hundreds of spectators, the Endeavour was towed into Constitution Dock, where the crew members were greeted by the Minister for Tourism, Mr. Lyons.
Mr. O'Keefe, manager of the United Insurance Company, Mr. Kerr, Mr. Lennox King and the crew of the Endeavour, and ladies and gentlemen, I've just been presented with something from Captain Cook, a scroll. I would have thought that it might have been better if he'd given me a few glass beads and so on, as happened in, so many years ago, over 200 years ago at Botany Bay, but this is very nice to receive this, and I'll appreciate it particularly in the years to come. We're living fairly close to the discovery of Australia, but as the centuries roll by and the history of Captain Cook becomes part of the life of every Australian, then the fact that he landed at Adventure Bay and played such a vital part in adding to the history of Tasmania will also become more and better known. All the great explorers, Blythe, Bass and Flinders, D'Entrecasteaux, La Perouse, visited Adventure Bay at some time or another. I know that it's a great opportunity, particularly for the girls and boys, to see a replica of the Endeavour. We've had a few functions with relation to the bicentenary, but most of the events have not had a contact with the people who really matter in this context, and those are the young Australians who are growing up and who have got to have a love of the heritage and history of this great country. And so I say thank you, Mr. O'Keefe, to you, to Mr. Kerr and to Mr. Lennox King and his crew, and all those associated with the venture in making it possible for Hobart to be so privileged and to play such a vital and interesting part in the bicentenary celebrations of Captain Cook.